In a startling new update in the upcoming case against Sean Diddy Combs, 50 Cent is anticipated to list all of the celebrities connected to him. He has a ton of documents that could soon be presented to the prosecutors. In New York, Diddy faces serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. These filings could change our perception of his well-known parties and business dealings. 50 Cent claims it's time to bring all the details to light. He first brought up these issues on social media, and now he's putting them in writing. We'll see which celebrities show up in the evidence and what they know. The list of names includes household names that once attended his white parties and includes celebrities from music, movies, sports, and fashion.
You do a lot of foul shit, like behind the scenes. You do some foul shit, like hating on, like doing things with people I done business with that he done business with. He was saying shit that I was like, he said that to you?
Right.
Like, yeah, so all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it. So they want the girls after you're done with them and shit.
Yeah, leftovers.
Yeah.
Take your leftovers.
Yeah.
The new baby oil.
Should start looking gray if you ain't got nothing on it.
It's got the new baby oil, bro.
This ain't baby oil.
Nigga, you ran through 8,000 jars of them in prison.
Baby.
You know what I mean? He was Ashy Larry.
Relax.
You know what I mean?
Still got everybody looking.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
That's why I'm going to the puffy parties. Nigga, hug you from the front and the back of the street.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, me and Dub C ain't never been to a Diddy party.
Tapped in, but what
The last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed me into the truck. It really hurt. And he sounded about me. I was like, yo, look, I could find other things to do for money. But I'm not sure I can say that for money.
How much is this guy trying to get?
I don't know. Like, if this is a simple situation, but it's like
20 mil, I can say.
You still had the blackest face out. You
Yes.
still had the biggest voice because he's like,
But his
damn.
voice wasn't even that different.
And yeah, a little deeper. I was like, almost like, no, that's you, young buck.
Yo,
Almost felt like it was him. I almost knew who it was. You know what I mean? I was like, nah, that's fucking funny.
Yo, you can't say the dudes are having sex with other dudes, bro. That might come for you.
One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent. And it turns out that it's just been announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the but he wants you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. We're still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
Look, it seems like I'm doing some extremely outrageous things, but I haven't. It's really me just saying what I've been saying for 10 years. 50 Cent adds, defending his past criticism of Diddy, which he has done on stage and on social media. He continues, now it's becoming more full-facing in the news with the puffy stuff, but away from that I'm like, yo, it's just my perspective because I stayed away from that stuff the entire time because this is not my style.
You're one of the first persons in entertainment to really call out people and kind of have that authority in that, to be able to call people out. I mean, which is pretty amazing. You're kind of, in some ways, draining the swamp of Hollywood.
Yeah, I don't have a support system. I don't have a support system of a peer group of artists that I require to do what I'm doing. I've had to be on my own from the beginning. So I don't necessarily have a responsibility to behave a certain way, according to them. You know, and look, if I didn't have an award-winning director doing it, if I hadn't put the right people in place to produce it properly, I would understand why they would question or doubt anything. You know, but you go into the 90s, and Keefy D said they paid him to do pop.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know
He did it.
you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually
oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy. I mean,
but I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated. So
was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day? Obviously, I know what was going on there, but is there a reason you never did?
I'm just not with all that freaky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic.
Not like he hate Diddy, but sometimes he might do shit that we don't know about.
Well, for him to make the documentary, I think he hates it.
Nah.
Nah?
That's business.
That's just business?
Business. You wouldn't be mad. Look,
you gotta really dislike someone to do a documentary about him.
If Jimmy Iovine did the documentary, would people say he's mad?
Diddy used to dominate Hollywood white parties. His parties were legendary, with champagne flowing freely and designer clothes all over the place. Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Ashton Kutcher were all rubbing elbows, and the invitations felt like golden tickets, but that world had a cost, and now all of the names on those guest lists could end up in court documents. You'll see the scope, hear the murmurs, and wonder which celebrity will tremble when their name appears on the record as 50 Cent lays out every relationship he has with Diddy's empire.
Bad Boy Entertainment. I named it Bad Boy because I wanted to go against the grain. Anytime you go against the grain, they consider you like kind of bad. Nothing negative, nothing like hardcore. Just, I didn't want to be regular. I didn't want to just make records. I didn't want to just make money. I wanted to make history. That's all it's ever been about for me, making history. And making music that's timeless. Music that's gonna be around when I'm not here, when my kids ain't here. Music that is that good. And having artists and videos and things that, really affect way of life in a positive way. Affect style, fashion, music. Bad Boy.
Look at Mary J. Usher's music. Diddy's label produced Bleach's 1992 debut, which is a fan favorite. Mary J. Blige and Usher owe a portion of their success to this label. Will they testify under oath, or will their silence speak louder than any statement? Mary J's mysterious Instagram post in March regarding burning bridges as needed raised questions about Diddy. She even lived with Combs in '94. Both have remained largely silent since Combs' arrest on September 16th for racketeering and sexing, and on September 17th, Combs entered a not guilty plea. What will they say under oath? Will any of those mentorship moments become evidence? 50 Cent will request that the court take into account each picture, each handshake, and each hushed.
Before Michael Rubin's all-white party, the real all-white party was Diddy.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
These started in the late 90s and continued on for a very long time. Now I'm going to show you an announcement of him at the party. He says at a certain hour the kids have to go home. But before I do that, take a look at all of these celebrities who attended these parties. While I'm not saying the people who attended these parties are guilty of anything, I just want you to know how highly these parties were regarded. We are talking the highest names in every industry. What happens at these parties, I have no idea. You may have seen the clip of Keeping Up with the Kardashians where they talk about it a little bit, which is absolutely wild, but generally no phones were allowed, so good luck finding clips of the parties. But watch this clip.
It's a legendary white party. It's the real white party. And to all the kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable, kids.
So all the leaked footage of Diddy parties right now is going viral, and here's one clip. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this, right? Nothing crazy is happening. But why would they have anything crazy happening with cameras everywhere, right? Like, they're smarter than that, but there you guys go. More footage is going viral. Shove it.
Give a shout out.
Jay-Z comes next. Beyonce, Kanye West, and Jay-Z, no sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. Jay-Z wrote in a demand letter after the VMAs, when he was accused of being 13 years old alongside Combs. When 50 Cent calls him to testify, will the star's denial hold up? Will Beyonce and Drake step into the box too? These moments could define the verdict. Mariah Carey and Drake celebrated Diddy's 50th birthday in 2019. Jay-Z even sat for that. Vanity Fair portrait with Combs. Jay-Z is currently facing his own civil suit.
I met Puff, I was afraid of success, afraid to do anything that could put so much attention on me. And then when I met him, he was the complete opposite. And he was such a good thing for me because I needed what he had. And so his ambition pushed me to be ambitious because I didn't know how, because, you know, when you come from where I come from, you're scared to be ambitious. You're scared to want more. And so when I met Puff, I was, you know, blown away. But it took some years to grow into that and accepting someone that just was so excited about being seen and about having, you know, the lights on them and wanted it for you more than you wanted it for yourself. So, I mean, Puff was a huge inspiration to me.
I want you guys to know, man, it was a terrible thing when we found out that Mary J. Blige's tape came out. You not remember a time, man, when she was with KC from Jodeci, and they were, you know, on drugs, and KC used to put them hands on Mary J. Blige. So back in the day when her freak tape came out, Mary J. Blige even said herself, this was her rite of passage. Guys, I'm born and raised in Las Vegas, and I remember the day, man, she had a concert out here in Las Vegas, and she was so high, she was like, hey, how you doing tonight, Los Angeles? But we was in Las Vegas. But Mary J., as you remember, man, she wasn't the finest thing when she got on the scene. Her mouth kind of twisted off to the side. She wasn't the best looking thing. You know, they found her singing karaoke, some Anita Baker karaoke in the mall, and they dusted her up, polished her up, and Angie Stone started writing for her, and she became who she was. But she definitely was a part of these parties, and she has no regrets.
Y'all remember the second album, but Usher does have a first album that's a classic that you know I executive produced. But most importantly, that's how he became my brother. And to see the way you grow, you have grown, and to see you get better with your craft, and to see the man that you turned into and the consciousness that you have. I know you've been speaking to Harry Belafonte. Did you put me? You hooked me up with speaking to Harry Belafonte. So your consciousness, you know what I'm saying, has really been a shining example. And the way you just spoken and articulated yourself, imagine me having guardianship for you at 13, and then now you speaking the way that you speaking, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I'm so proud of you.
But don't hit me no more. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. Let's go. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. Hey, yeah.
Sexing, socialites, and supermodels also filled those rooms. Paris Hilton danced at multiple white parties. Nicole Richie and a young Kim Kardashian joined her on a bed at St. Tropez. Naomi Campbell hit the Met Gala and then partied with Diddy off. And Russell Brand says Combs once forced him on a holiday he didn't want. He told Howard Stern, "Say you don't want to do something and Diddy does want you to do it. It's really hard to not do that thing." Imagine those stories playing in court. Will Paris admit she saw more than just champagne showers? Will Kim say if she ever felt uneasy? Their answers could shock even the most diehard fan.
Yeah, it's P. Sean, Daddy, Brother, Puff, Love, Diddy, Combs, or whatever the hell his name is now. We stopped trying to keep track. Celebrating his big 5-0 with some Elaine from Seinfeld moves at a gigantic party at his house, and everybody was there.
The biggest names that were there, Kim and Kanye, Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Is that the order that you want to do that in?
Seriously, you forgot Dougie Fresh, who was also there. He should come first.
The biggest part of the whole night was the fact that Jay-Z and Kanye actually shook hands. They squashed their beef, or at least for that night. Diddy's smiling like, look, I made this happen.
Oh yeah, it was all you, Diddy. Maybe a little help from all the CBD products and Ciroc alcohol that was floating around, but otherwise, all you.
Who else was there?
Who wasn't? Well, maybe not Steve Harvey, because Diddy was banging his daughter. But how about Cardi B and Offset, Kevin Hart, Kobe Bryant, and Post Malone?
I'ma take a shot to the red zone. To the red zone. They need to understand. Everyone's got to make it. Here we go. Mike Montana. Yes, sir. All right, check.
Jay-Z is denying an allegation that he and Sean Diddy Combs raped a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah, an anonymous accuser identified only as Jane Doe made the accusation in a civil lawsuit on Sunday. It alleges that the assault happened after she was driven to an MTV Video Music Awards afterparty back in 2000. In a statement to NBC News, Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, called the accusation idiotic, adding, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever should commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" Attorneys representing Combs also dismissed the lawsuit, calling it a shameless publicity stunt. Combs is currently behind bars at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after federal prosecutors charged him in September with racketeering and sex.
Sports celebrities are not exempt. In 2020, David Beckham bid £150,000 at a charity auction for a weekend at Diddy's Hampton house. Wayne Rooney won the same auction but never received his prize. LeBron James famously remarked, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." When their names appear in court documents, what will athletes say? Will LeBron acknowledge that he ever attended? Or will Beckham keep the trophy as a reminder of a night he might rather forget?
You've been to some crazy parties, I'm sure. What's the strangest interaction you've had at a party that was like, what's happening right now?
I was lit. I just started dancing with Paris Hilton. I was like, this is kind of crazy.
That is kind of nuts. What song was playing?
I don't even know. It was one of those nights.
Not even Diddy's bitch. Diddy's new to me, right? He looked after me. He took me on an enforced holiday to Vegas. He's a very intense man because I think he come from nothing and now he's very, very powerful. People that do stuff like that, they're intense.
Actors have their own chapters. Ashton Kutcher co-hosted a 2009 white party. Will Smith and Bruce Willis partied in Miami in 2004. Each clip might land in court exhibits. 50 Cent could use them to show a pattern. What did those actors see? Did any of them try to pull back the velvet rope when things got wild? Those questions will cut deep in testimony.
You got Ashton Kutcher in love with Mila Kunis on that 70s show. Then they break up for absolutely no reason after he starts hanging out with Diddy. Then he marries Demi Moore, who drained him of all the adrenochrome she can, and apparently he replenished himself by doing inappropriate things with her daughters.
It was there, you know what I'm saying? That's why I don't know how they fell out of there like that. They was road dogs, you know what I'm saying? They even got pictures of him. He got on that blue sweater with the turtleneck, him and him hugged up like this with the black hat. Have you ever seen that picture?
Nah, I don't recall, but I'm pretty sure I came across it.
Yeah. That picture there, they was at that party that day. Yeah, it's just like a bunch of weird, that whole, yeah, that's weird, dude. Yeah, bunch of, it ain't right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not no gay basher, none of that shit, but that shit ain't right, you know what I'm saying? That whole party was weird, though. Yeah, it was Jada Pinkett.
I think also the silence of certain individuals like LeBron James is quite deafening. A person who claims to care so much about Black life, Black Lives Matter, on the ground, taking a kneel. Okay, that's fine. But now you have a friend of yours who has been on camera beating a Black woman, okay? You said nothing when that happened. You also know that you have various Black people speaking out about how they were abused by him, and you have said nothing. So I don't like the hypocrisy behind that. It might be a good time to use your platform. I'm calling out the hypocrisy and the double standard of that. If LeBron James had kept his mouth shut on every other issue and said nothing, I wouldn't be like, hey, why is LeBron James being quiet on this issue? I'd say he doesn't typically weigh in on anything. So it wouldn't make sense to put pressure on him to do it. The exact opposite. I'm saying keep the exact same energy that you have had on every other Black issue when it comes to your door and it pertains to a friend of yours that you were partying with. I think that's pretty sensible.
Watch this at a charity event. Look what he does with David Beckham. He offers $150,000 for this event, and you have to see what he says at the end. Go ahead, Rob.
Okay. Being that I don't spend a lot of time here and I don't really know the crowd, if you win, you get your choice of one or the other. Choice A is a weekend at my house in the Hamptons, fully staffed on the water, East Hampton, New York. Number 2 is a studio session with me in New York or London. I'll produce a record for you and your kids. Or number 3 is a night out with Diddy, Saturday night in New York. And I promise you, your ass will wake up Wednesday laying beside me.
This is some of the stuff that's going to be revealed, and these are nothing. These are just signs, right? But if anything leaks with celebrity names that all of a sudden comes out, it's going to break the internet.
Mr. Wayne Rooney! You, Wayne! You, baby! Yeah! It's a showbiz marriage made in heaven.
Me and you, Wayne. Wayne, I'll give you all 3 if you want it. I'll give you all 3. 2 people for 150.
2 people for 150.
Yeah, you can bring the whole football team.
When they were young bucks growing up and they were getting in a lot of trouble themselves, so hey, I was like, why don't you come hang out with me?
Did Sean Diddy Combs extend a royal invite to one of his now infamous parties? The hip-hop mogul recalled wanting Prince Harry and Prince William to join his guest list, sharing in a resurfaced interview with Graham Norton in 2011 that the brothers were once welcome in his social circle. Diddy explained that he understood the princes were likely unavailable as they started settling into their adult roles and responsibilities at that time, but he went on to note that he thought they could have fit in a few years earlier.
You know, before when they were young bucks growing up and they were getting in a lot of trouble themselves, so hey, I was like, why don't you come hang out with me?
Though Harry and William are not believed to have ever taken Diddy up on the offer, they did meet and pose for photos with the rapper at a 2007 star-studded concert event for their late mother, Princess Diana. And he and Graham appeared to agree that the extent of their relationship likely ended there.
I do worry because I read that on your that you want to get Prince William and Prince Harry to a Diddy party.
I don't think, not anymore. I mean, before, you know.
Yeah, don't ruin our royal wedding for us.
Trust me, they're off the list.
Prince Harry has been named in a lawsuit against P. Diddy.
Yeah,
so
it's a little
he's
bit
taking the legal action, or?
Yes, so it's a bit complicated. So yesterday, of course, we were talking about those raids, and they were quite extraordinary, those raids. You know, it was like a military operation going into both the mansions on each coast. And we'll come back to that. But this is unrelated to that. This is coincidental that this story has dropped. So this is the story of a man called Rodney Little Rod Jones, who's a producer who's filed a $30 million civil suit against P. Diddy. He's got several suits against him. Now, in the paperwork for this, he has mentioned Prince Harry's name, using Prince Harry as an example of the sort of people that P. Diddy would mix with. He's not accusing Prince Harry of having done anything wrong whatsoever. And to be very honest, there is no suggestion, there's no evidence that P. Diddy and Prince Harry are friends in any way. This vision you see here was back in 2007 at a charity event, and Prince William there as well. And some newspapers are sort of cropping him out of the photographs they're using. But that seems to be the only time they've met and been together.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy.
Donald Trump's past comments about Sean Diddy Combs are getting new attention. A clip of the former president praising the hip-hop mogul on a 2012 episode of The Celebrity Apprentice has resurfaced in the wake of Diddy's bombshell arrest and indictment on sex trafficking charges. Season 5 contestant Aubrey O'Day touted her time working with Diddy in the 2000s girl group Danity Kane as having prepared her for the business world, prompting Trump to defend the artist and entrepreneur when Aubrey didn't want to discuss the matter further.
I am a very strict and focused businesswoman because working for Diddy for 6 years trained me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy.
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy.
He expects.
Is he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that
Oh,
question.
wow. I think he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
Trump and wife Melania have been photographed with Diddy at multiple high-profile events over the years. Diddy previously complimented Trump in a 2015 interview with the Washington Post amid the politician's first presidential bid, saying at the time, "Donald Trump is a friend of mine and he works very hard."